Hi, everybody. It's me, Delusion Dispeller. I know most of you are probably over at Mrs. Golightly's channel, and that's fine. This can even be just a recorded video that nobody shows up for. I'm fine with that too. However, I am going to make a live. I wasn't going to because, as you know, I said tonight was date night, and I was really looking forward to it. But my husband and I have been really off in our sleep wake schedules lately. Since the time change happened, we can't seem to get it together. So we've both been kind of tired in the morning, and then we laid down, took a nap. We woke up again, and now we're tired again. So we just really don't feel like even watching a movie together. We're just kind of going to our own corners and doing whatever. But I did want to do a couple things on this particular live video. One thing I want to do is let you know that I am running a special right now on my e-course. I am going to send out, for anybody that emails me, I'm going to send out a first chapter of my e-course, free of charge, complimentary. As long as you write me, send me your email address. Well, you will anyways by writing me. I like to compile email addresses so that when I come out with new things, I have somebody I can send them to. Yeah, I know. Well, I've been trying to talk to her, Robbie. I keep typing in the thing. What do you want to do our live chat on? What do you want to do our collab on? What do you want to do our side by side collab on? She doesn't answer me. She doesn't even read my comment because, well, her chat thing goes by so fast, she probably doesn't even see it. So I'm going to have to email her, I guess, again and ask her when she wants to get together. I was trying to do a collab with Mrs. Analyzer as well, and I thought we were going to do one today, but she never responded to me. I checked my email. She never wrote me back. Checked my text messages. She never texted me back. I'm here and I'm ready whenever either one of them want to do a collab, but nobody's responding or getting back with me. So there's nothing I can do about it. Anyways, I've been getting a lot of, well, not a lot, a few people saying, well, my child is autistic, my child has Asperger's, they would never murder their family like Chris Watts did. Okay. So it started troubling me, and I started thinking, well, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. Um, People that don't truly know how to connect with the world or can't truly do it because of autism or Asperger's, I know that their thinking is different than the neurotypical person's thinking. So I did a little bit of research and I found this guy named, I think it's Autistic Werewolf, I think his name is. He's a gentleman of color. And he basically says, yes, it can happen. And he explained why. And it made a lot of sense to me. So I wanted to share this with you along with the link that I got the information from. So here goes. First of all, and this was interesting because a lot of people that have talked about the Chris Watts thing kept saying it was premeditated. He planned all this, he plotted it all, etc. I can't deny that that's the case. What this guy, Autistic Werewolf, said was that people with autism often keep a tally of all the things that people have done wrong to them. And finally, they just explode. It's kind of like in a pressure cooker where it's just kind of seething underneath the surface. Right on for the shout out, Robbie. Huh? Okay, I'm not sure what that means, Natalie, but yeah, okay. Um, so anyways, yes, people that have autism and Asperger's can boil under the surface and kind of store things up. Now, I don't know what everybody's opinion is about how Chris was treated in the marriage and maybe how he perceived things to be. I had heard something where he said he would just like to hang a picture straight without somebody trying to tell him how to do it. If you're constantly nitpicked at or put down or labeled or belittled or whatever, and you have autism or Asperger's, forgiveness is not one of your strong points because that's a social aspect of a relationship. Oh, yeah, I was on Go Lightly's live a minute ago. Hi, Molly. Welcome in. So it is possible that Chris Watts could have autism or Asperger's, however you say it. and that he was a killer. And yes, people with Asperger's and autism do kill. In fact, they do some pretty heinous crimes, some of them. I'm not saying every single person that has Asperger's or autism is a killer or would kill. I'm just saying, yes, it is true that they can do that. They can become murderous because they do not let things go. If you upset somebody with autism, for instance, like say you upset them last week, you could find out they're lashing out at you months from then because they don't have the ability to just forgive and forget and let it go and move on. That's not a concept they have in their mind. They they're socially awkward, and I kept thinking of whoever it was that was saying Chris Watts was socially awkward. That right there tells me something's wrong. Social awkwardness is not normal. That's something of concern. This guy, Autistic Werewolf, was saying that if a person with autism's special area of interest is something where it's extremely dangerous, and I'm thinking of Chris Watts apparently having an interest in some pretty um, kinky, risky things that I won't go into details on, that are just really repulsive to me because I'm not into that sort of thing. It's just really nasty. Um, his interest was in that, and in walks Nicole, fluffing her little peacock feathers in his face, and he's let off like that man that's let off by the seductors in the book of Proverbs. Hi, Lindsay. So it's very possible that his sordid interest in those heinous, disgusting things that he was doing with her, for instance, caused him to think he had to wipe everybody out in order to have that, especially if he's autistic or has Asperger's. They don't put two and two together and get four, usually. I was just watching a gentleman on a video that had autism, and very much, very much you could see the difference between somebody that was neurotypical and somebody that had Asperger's or Asperger's and autism or autism. It was definitely something you could tell the way he responded to questions, the way he repeated things. This guy that I was watching. So yeah, it's possible. Autism is a very logical way of thinking and does not often mean that a person is going to want to let something go that someone does to them. If an autistic person feels that someone has done them wrong, especially repeatedly, they're either going to avoid that person or they're going to punish them in some way. They don't forget when somebody does something that bothers them. They basically store it up. And I remember also hearing that Chris Watts has a photographic memory. Think about it. If he's being wronged and he feels he's being wronged, even if, let's play, the other side of things and say Shanann was this wonderful wife. She was good to him, good to the kids, all that stuff. Just say that she was. But in Chris's mind, he felt like she was too overbearing. He felt that she was putting him down. He felt that she wouldn't let him do anything for himself. Then that could mean, if he had autism or Asperger's, that he was like, oh, she won't let me do anything. Man, she won't even let me hang a picture. She won't let me do this or that. She won't let me make my own decisions or spend my money how I want. All of that stuff, if he has these disorders I'm talking about, could just have been stored up and built up over a long period of time. And in his mind, he was determined that she was never going to do that to him again. And nobody was ever going to treat him like that again. And he would make darn sure of it, which explains why he could have justified to himself that murdering people was okay. It doesn't make it okay, but maybe in his distorted thinking somewhere, he thought, well, they are never going to do this to me again. Um, well, and yeah, not just sympathy from Nicole. He wanted more than sympathy from her. He was involved in some weird stuff, and she was too. He wanted to keep playing on that playground without having any other responsibilities to keep going home to, basically. The only thing I can relate this to is I lived with my foster mom for a while, and I wanted to move in with my soon to be husband. This is my first husband, who I did end up marrying. He didn't believe in moving in together, and I really didn't either back then. So he gave me the apartment, his apartment, and he went and lived with a lady from the church until we were married. So it was like, I don't know, 9 months or so. And I remember thinking, well, I don't want to go back to my foster family. I want to have this new life. I want to just forget them and move on in this new thing. And I think maybe Chris took that to an extreme. And again, I am not justifying anything he did. I'm not saying he doesn't belong in prison. So before we even go there with me, I'm just letting you know that. Hey, Astro. I'm just trying to explain how a mindset could work with somebody that has these disorders, if he has them. Right, exactly what Deb is saying. Yes, I saw the inside of the house. That was quite the house there. My house is about 500 square feet. Pretty sure. It might be less than that. Theirs was 5,000 apparently. Yeah, he made that speech about, when you learn that your relationship isn't going where you want it to, you should end it, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was kind of like he was almost predicting what he was about to do eventually. So if it wasn't Shenanigan, he could have done it to anybody he was married to. Because in his mind, for whatever reason, um, that he justified what he did. Right, Natalie, I agree. So what if, just in a case scenario, like a made up case scenario, what if Chris decided that every time Shanann said something that was negative to him, or every time Bella didn't go to sleep on time and Chris, I don't know, had to do something or wanted to do something, and she was making him stay up with her and help her get to sleep or whatever. I mean, I know the girls went to bed really early, but what if there were times that the girls argued with their dad? What about the times they were smashing him in the face with the whipped cream? And he acted like he was okay with it, but I could kind of see underneath he really wasn't. What if he felt cornered by Shanann becoming pregnant, even though he said he wanted the baby when it really happened? Maybe he didn't think it really could happen because of her health issues. So what if that was, a deciding factor in, well, she's not going to do this to me. She's not going to corner me with a baby, another baby on the way when we can barely afford the ones we have. And I like this other woman better anyways. So I mean, there's so many different mitigating factors that could have played part in this. And that's what I'm looking at right now. Um, but what Natalie said, he's actually like a pre-adolescent boy searching how love feels because all the love letters to Nicole. Maybe he was seething inside because of how he felt. Yeah. Hi, Martha. I don't know. I remember when my husband watched those videos of Shanann with Chris and Shanann with the kids, he was like, "I wouldn't let you treat me that way." I can see how he felt really bad about that. And a lot of people don't get that was something that could make a guy feel emasculated or less than or whatever. Again, that does not justify murder in any way, shape, or form, but it could kind of explain why another woman was looking better. There's no attachment there. The woman didn't have any children. I think she was younger than Shanann. She was into stuff that Shanann probably didn't want any part of. Shanann might have been tired a lot of times and maybe not engaging in that activity with him that he wanted to share with her. And this other girl comes along and she's just like, all about it. That could explain that too. Um, so basically, like this werewolf guy, this autistic werewolf guy was saying that anytime anybody wrongs somebody with autism, they hold on to it. They don't let it go. It can be years from then. They're still going to remember what you did and they're still going to feel like, I don't trust you. I don't want you in my life. I'm not going to let you hurt me again. And it's a done deal for them. Um, so that's just some of the thoughts I was having about it, that it could have been just a getting even thing. And maybe while he was holding his hand over Shanann's throat, and strangling her. Maybe he was looking into her eyes and remembering all that those times that she didn't let him hang pictures, she didn't let him do stuff, or she put him down in front of people, and, maybe that just finally I'm not saying he snapped because it was very methodical how he did what he did. He had to wait, for her to get home and all that stuff. So I don't think it was just like they're saying it's a blind rage. There was no rage from what they explained it as. It was just very goes over to her and starts choking her, whether it was in bed or where it was. He just kept his hand on her neck till she died. And he must have been thinking all that stuff, is what my guess is. Because I think he had to somehow justify it to himself that she deserved it, or that this way she would never hurt him again, or she'd never say those things to him again. Because that's how autistic people's minds work. Yeah, she trusted him. She ignored the red flags, obviously. She also obviously did not understand some of the behaviors he was showing in front of her. I was thinking the same thing, Deb, and I'm really glad you brought that up. Maybe the kids would, come up in the middle of when he was doing that kind of stuff, and he would get frustrated with the kids. I don't know. What I see, the main cause of what he did was selfishness. That's a selfishness with a capital S. I want this new thing over here. Nobody's going to tell me I can't have it. This woman, her getting pregnant, how dare she? Now I'm not going to be able to have what I want as easy. I'm going to have to do something about it. He maybe panicked and thought, I need to just end this all right now so it's not dogging my steps. Yeah, it was all about that new shiny thing. Exactly, Valerie. Yep, Scott Peterson was, my ex-husband was and is. So yeah, that's all part of it. Yeah, she would she said she would try to upset him to get him to show feelings. Wow, that's very telling, Brandy. To purposely make somebody upset to have them show their feelings. That's not good. That's not good at all. But what I do think, and tell me if you disagree with me, that's fine. I don't think this was something that happened over time, which is why I'm not leaning towards him being as much narcissistic as possibly autistic. It seems to me that he always had this type of personality. He was into, I think, mechanics and very brilliant at it, like a savant brilliance, like amazingly brilliant. And when he married her, nothing really seemed to change. Hi, Kimberly. So I don't think this was just something that suddenly he married her and he was this wonderful man, and then all of a sudden one day he started changing. I really don't think so. I think he was always like that. Yeah, some people think it's premeditated, some people think it's not. And this guy, Autistic Werewolf, said that the premeditation, if there is premeditation there, is because of the fact that they do not let go of grudges. They don't let go of the times they felt hurt, belittled, or put down. And then eventually it's just like it starts playing in their head over and over again. And they start feeling like, yeah, she didn't have a right to treat me that way. Yeah, she shouldn't have said that. Man, why'd they do that? Why are these kids always up? They're always up in my space. I can't even get on and do what I want on my computer. And, he may not have even said anything because he was socially awkward. He might have just kind of, put it inside. And yeah, exploded, but didn't react in an explosive, rageful way. He just very slowly and methodically killed everybody. And it's heartbreaking. It's all heartbreaking. And yeah, and the fact that I was watching Mrs. Analyzer's one video, apparently at some point he even sent a picture of those oil tanks with some yellow flowers in front of them to the mistress. It almost looked like he was saying, okay, the deed is done. We're free now. We can go do what we're going to do and live our new life. No, I don't believe she didn't know anything. That's a bunch of hooey. Uh-uh. If he was that hot and heavy over her, do you honestly think he was keeping stuff from her? No. I think they talked about it. That's my opinion anyway. But yeah, it does seem like he planned it because he got rid of everybody so fast. I think maybe he got rid of people because he panicked. That's what I think. But again, my opinion. Anyways, as when I first came in, not to change the subject, but to change the subject just for a moment. I am giving away my first chapter of my e-course for anybody that emails me at delusiondispeller@gmail.com. It will be absolutely free, this first chapter, along with the video, so you can see what this e-course has to offer, just a taste of it. And then you can decide if you want to actually purchase the rest of it. It's like $19.98 for 7 days worth of this e-course. And it's about how to break free, how to move on after the narcissist ditches you and moves on themselves. Yeah, I know she does, Natalie. I agree. Who would want a cold-blooded killer? You mean as far as the mistress or as far as Shanann? Yeah, I think so too, Astral. You're not the first person that noticed that, but yeah. So anyway, I'm going to put my email address, and if you will write me there, you will get the first um, chapter of my ebook, complimentary. Give you a taste of it. See if maybe it's something you would be interested in, or maybe you know somebody that is in an abusive situation or has just left one. It will be an ideal source for them. Anyway, um, so that's all I wanted to say about that. I am waiting to see what they find out with the psyche veils, though. I think they're going to find something. I'd be really surprised if they don't. Oh, he sent her a picture of the oil tanks with a bunch of yellow flowers in front of them. Exactly, Deb. Or not Deb, Valerie. I understand, Teresa. I look at him as disconnected. Totally disconnected. We didn't do date night tonight. Husband and I are both very tired for some odd reason. We think it was the family gathering the day before. Maybe she did know what, Deb. Oh, about him killing him? Well, that's what we're thinking with that picture, most likely. She might have told him, let me know when you're done doing what you need to do. I just think she's shifty and shady. We're gonna find out more, I'm sure, about all that soon enough. And hopefully about Chris's mental state. Nothing will ever, ever, ever justify what he did. Even if they say, well, yeah, he's autistic with narcissistic tendencies or Aspergers or whatever. It's never going to justify murder. Never. You can't bring people back. That's possible, Deb. I'm really interested to know what his past was like, too, before he met Shanann, other people he dated. That's who I want to come out of the woodwork at this point to start talking. Right, Teresa. And I don't know. I'm glad that's not my decision to judge that. I think, murder warrants prison. But also, oh, you're welcome, Kelly. Also, the person in prison needs to be evaluated and needs to have therapy, even if they're in prison. They can do both. Yeah, I don't know, Edie. It's possible. My first ex-husband, went before he was my ex, he had never dated anybody but me. I was his first. So far, I've been his last. He did not have a normal dating life. And I don't think Chris did either. Yeah, good point, Brandy. Anyway, that's all I really came on to say, and I'm getting super tired again, and it is 9 o'clock, and I got to work in the morning. But I just wanted to pop on and say all that stuff. Just gives you something else to think about, I guess. I do have to say that I agree with Miss Mensa's recent video about some of the things that I wondered about, like the fact that the bailiff had sunglasses on in the courtroom. That's kind of odd. And the fact that the interrogation videos were filmed from the back doesn't make sense to me either. Just some stuff to chew on tonight. I'm gonna get going, y'all. I'm just very, very tired, and yeah. Oh, I do know that yeah, Miss Mensa. I do know that what was I gonna say now? Hey, I don't know what I was gonna say. Like I told you, very, very tired. I don't think death would be the answer right now. I think studying this man's brain is the answer. I think it's yeah, Mensa's back. She didn't go anywhere. She's taking time to make more videos. No problem, Shireen. And I still have not been able to reread the 2,000-page document. People have sent it to me. I tried to download it. It didn't work. I just finally gave up on it. Oh, what Mrs. Analyzer said about how she won't post pictures of the victims, their bodies and stuff, because nobody wants to see that. Well, I want to see it. And not because I have a morbid curiosity, but I think it offers me some closure. And there are a lot of people thinking this is a conspiracy thing where there really was no murder and that these were just all like actors and stuff. I don't think I believe that at this point. I think it's real. Sadly, I mean, I wish it was just acting and we could see everybody live happily ever after, but yeah, fairy tales really don't come true most of the time. So, yeah. Anyway, love y'all and bless you. I will be back tomorrow sometime. I just need to get some sleep. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.